Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver and most commonly occurs due to a virus. There are 5 different types of hepatitis viruses, each with different properties and mechanisms. The hepatitis B virus is the smallest double-stranded DNA virus known to man, while all other hepatitis viruses have single-stranded RNA. Hepatitis can also have non-infectious causes relating to genetic or environmental factors, such as alcoholic hepatitis and autoimmune hepatitis. As you can see, there are many types of hepatitis, however, this video will focus on hepatitis B. Transmission of hepatitis B usually involves direct or indirect contact with blood, saliva, semen, or other infected body fluids. Transmission may occur due to non-sterile techniques. It is also sexually transmitted between partners and vertically transmitted between mother and child during pregnancy. The liver is one of the largest organs in the body and is made up of hepatocytes, which have the unique capacity to reproduce in response to liver injury. However, repetitive insults can result in serious liver damage. Liver tissue is organized into hexagonal hepatic lobules, with portal triads at each corner consisting of branches of the hepatic artery, portal vein, and bile duct. Liver sinusoids are separated from hepatocytes by the space of Dis. In this space, hepatic stellate cells are present. These are generally quiescent but are involved in scar formation in response to liver damage. Overall, the liver is a metabolically active organ responsible for many vital life functions. Some of the well-known functions include bile production, excretion of bilirubin, cholesterol, hormones, and drugs, metabolism of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, enzyme activation, storage of glycogen, vitamins and minerals, synthesis of plasma proteins and clotting factors, blood detoxification, and it also provides energy to other tissues mainly by exporting glucose and ketones for oxidation and energy in the peripheral tissues. Once inside the bloodstream, the virus eventually travels to the liver, where it enters the space of Dis, allowing the virus to be absorbed by the hepatocyte for viral replication. Once a hepatocyte is infected, it displays MHC class I proteins on the cell surface, which are antigen-presenting. These are recognized by CD8 plus cytotoxic T cells, which trigger an immune response against the virus, primarily involving cytotoxic killing and apoptosis. Initially, the dying hepatocyte undergoes ballooning degeneration, but then shrinks down to form eosinophilic councilman bodies. In general, there are areas of necrosis and collapse of liver lobules, seen as areas of inflammation resulting in hemorrhage, irregular furrows, and granularity. As a result of the cellular damage, the liver is unable to function properly. The severity of infection relates to the immune system's ability to clear the virus. If clearance is delayed, a chronic, persistent hepatitis can occur. A poor response can lead to chronic hepatitis with ongoing hepatocellular damages and liver remodeling, with consequences of cirrhosis and potentially hepatocellular carcinoma. Symptoms of hepatitis B depend on whether a person has acute or chronic infection. Only 20% of acute cases develop chronic hepatitis, but most of the time the body is able to fight off the infection naturally because of preventative measures such as the HPV vaccine. Because the liver plays a role in digestion, the individual may experience loss of appetite, vomiting, feel nauseous, or experience abdominal pain. Some studies suggest that when your body is fighting an infection that won't go away, it triggers fatigue, while other studies suggest that fatigue may be due to liver injury. HB infection has been linked to several rheumatic manifestations. This may be immune response mediated, causing inflammation in the joints. The most physically noticeable symptom includes jaundice due to the presence of conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin in the blood. Hepatocytes help line the bile duct, so when hepatocytes die, this causes leakage of bile duct contents into the bloodstream via the sinusoids. A buildup of bilirubin in the blood and tissues causes yellowish eyes and skin. The presence of bilirubin in the urine gives it its darker yellow color, while the absence of bilirubin in feces results in pale-colored feces. Incidence data shows that in 2016 there were 6,555 notifications of newly diagnosed hepatitis B infection in Australia. Of these, 3% were Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, 54% were males, 90% were people aged 25 years and above, and 86% were people residing in major cities. Overall, there were an estimated 230,034 people living with hepatitis B in 2016. However, 1/3 of people living with chronic hepatitis B had not been diagnosed. An estimated 412 deaths were due to chronic hepatitis B infection. There has also been a decline in new cases in younger people over the past 5 years, while rates remain high in the older population over 30 due to infant and adolescent vaccination programs. Also, Northeast Asians made up 22% of people living with chronic hepatitis B in Australia, followed by Southeast Asians who made up 18%. Almost 4 out of 100 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people had chronic hepatitis B. However, the number of newly diagnosed cases has halved in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people over the past 5 years, while newly diagnosed cases in the non-Indigenous population remains